For many years, we have been advised that to maintain muscle as we get older, we need to eat more protein. Protein shakes, protein powder, supplements. But in reality, it's not that simple. A large analysis of breakfast foods for older adults shows that only a small number of foods truly support effective muscle building. Many familiar foods do not deliver the results people expect. After the age of 60, muscles no longer respond to protein the same way they used to. You may eat enough, even add protein powder, yet your legs still feel weaker, standing up becomes harder, and balance feels less stable. This is not because your body is declining, but because muscles require the right signal, not just more food. What matters is not the amount of protein, but which foods an aging body can actually use effectively. In this video, I will share simple, affordable breakfast foods that research has shown to be suitable for muscles after age 60. But before getting into that list, we need to understand one basic thing: why muscle loss accelerates after 60 when eating the wrong way. Let's start there. Why does muscle loss accelerate after age 60? Muscle does not disappear overnight. This process begins much earlier, often after the age of 30, but it happens slowly, so most people don't notice it. The problem is that after age 60, the rate increases significantly. Research shows that each year, older adults can lose several % of their muscle mass. That may not sound like much, but over time, the effects become very clear. Weaker legs, slower ability to stand up, reduced balance. And this is not just about strength. Muscle loss is directly linked to falls, broken bones, and loss of independence. What's important to understand is this: muscle loss is not caused only by reduced physical activity, but also by the body responding less effectively to nutrition. After age 60, when you eat protein, your muscles no longer listen to the building signal the way they used to. The same meal, with the same amount of protein, produces far less effect than it did at a younger age. That's why many people feel confused. They eat the same way, or even eat more, yet their muscles continue to weaken. The problem is not the quantity, but the biological signal that triggers muscle building. And to understand what that signal is, we need to talk about one key factor that most breakfasts today are missing. In the next part, we will go to the most important question: what is the real switch that helps muscles begin building again after age 60? The biological switch that determines whether muscle gets built or not. Eating protein alone does not automatically lead to muscle growth, especially after age 60. Muscle only begins to build when it receives the correct biological signal. Without this signal, the protein you eat is not used efficiently. The key factor here is leucine, an essential amino acid. Leucine acts like a switch. When the amount of leucine in a meal reaches the required threshold, muscle receives the signal to begin protein synthesis. If that threshold is not reached, the body essentially ignores much of the protein you just ate. Research shows that older adults need a higher amount of leucine than younger people just to activate the muscle building process. That's why a meal that is high in protein but low in leucine may still fail to deliver real benefits. This is exactly why many familiar breakfasts are no longer suitable after age 60. They provide energy, but they do not activate the switch that muscles need. And this is also why we need to look at specific foods, not just talk broadly about protein. In the next part, I'll move into the breakfast foods that research has shown can activate this signal effectively, starting with options that are simple, affordable, and easy to use every day. The first food that reaches the muscle activation threshold after age 60. Once you understand the biological switch of muscle, the next question becomes very clear. Which food can activate this switch, starting at breakfast? The first food is Greek yogurt. Not all yogurt is the same. Greek yogurt is strained to remove most of the liquid, which is why its protein content is significantly higher than regular yogurt. One serving of Greek yogurt provides a substantial amount of protein, and more importantly, it reaches the leucine threshold required for muscle to begin the building process. What makes Greek yogurt special is its protein structure. It contains both fast-absorbing protein and slow-absorbing protein. Because of this, muscles are not only activated but also steadily nourished for several hours after eating. This is especially suitable for the body after age 60, when the ability to use protein has become less efficient. In addition to protein, Greek yogurt also provides calcium, which supports bone health, something that always goes hand in hand with muscle strength. More importantly, this is a simple and affordable option that does not require any protein powder or supplements. However, there is one common mistake that prevents many people from getting the full benefits of Greek yogurt, and most don't even realize they are making it. In the next part, we'll continue with another familiar food that can nourish muscles for hours and is often overlooked simply because it's considered hard to eat. A slow-release protein source that protects muscle overnight. The next food is cottage cheese. Many people skip it simply because of its texture or taste. But when it comes to effectiveness for muscle after age 60, this is one of the most valuable options available. Cottage cheese provides a high amount of protein in a moderate serving, and importantly, it meets the leucine threshold needed to activate the muscle-building process. The key difference lies in its absorption speed. Most of the protein in cottage cheese is slow-digesting protein. This means that after eating, amino acids are released gradually over several hours. For older adults, this is especially important. At night, the body is not taking in additional nutrition, and muscle breakdown tends to increase. Slow-release protein helps reduce muscle loss during sleep, instead of allowing the body to remain in a prolonged deficient state. In other words, cottage cheese not only activates muscle building, but also protects the muscle mass you already have. If you're not used to eating it plain, you can mix cottage cheese with fruit, blend it into a smoothie, or use it as part of a savory breakfast. However, protein is not the only factor that affects muscle after age 60. There is another component that is often overlooked, yet plays a major role in muscle recovery and growth. In the next part, we'll talk about a food that rarely appears at breakfast, but provides this factor at very high levels, with low cost and surprisingly high safety. An overlooked factor. Reducing inflammation for better muscle recovery. The next food is one that is often not considered for breakfast: sardines. Many people think fish is only important for heart health, but for muscles after age 60, sardines provide benefits in a very different way. Sardines supply high-quality protein, enough to support muscle building. But the key point is not the protein itself. One of the biggest issues for muscles after age 60 is chronic low-grade inflammation. This condition slows recovery, reduces the effectiveness of nutrition, and interferes with the muscle-building process. Sardines are rich in natural omega-3 fatty acids, which help reduce inflammation in the body. When inflammation levels decrease, muscles respond better to the protein you consume. In other words, with the same amount of protein, but in a lower inflammatory environment, muscles recover and grow more effectively. Another practical advantage is that sardines contain lower levels of heavy metals compared to many larger fish. This makes them suitable for regular consumption, especially for older adults. You can eat sardines with whole grain bread or pair them with eggs in a savory breakfast. This is a simple way to add protein while supporting muscle recovery at the same time. However, the solution does not always lie in protein or fat. Some foods that seem to provide only energy actually support muscle function in a different way. In the next part, we'll talk about a food that is often seen as just carbohydrates, but can help muscles work more effectively when used in the right combination. Not just carbohydrates. The supporting role of oatmeal in muscle health. When it comes to building muscle, many people immediately think of protein and completely overlook carbohydrates. Oatmeal is often placed in the category of just to feel full. But for the body after age 60, this view is incomplete. Oatmeal provides a special type of fiber that helps stabilize blood sugar and supports recovery after physical activity. When blood sugar is stable, the body uses protein more efficiently instead of burning it for energy. Oatmeal itself also contains a certain amount of protein, not high, but enough to contribute to the total intake of a meal. More importantly, oatmeal does not work on its own. When oatmeal is combined with a leucine-rich protein source, the body receives both stable energy and the signal needed to activate muscle building. This combination helps amino acids be delivered into muscle tissue more effectively. Therefore, the role of oatmeal is not to replace protein, but to create the conditions for protein to work properly. This is why many breakfasts after age 60 need to be viewed as a combination, rather than individual foods eaten separately. However, not all protein sources come from animals. There is a plant-based food that has changed how researchers view protein for older adults. In the next part, we'll talk about a plant-based protein source that can activate muscle building effectively, is easy to use at breakfast, and has very little impact on taste. Plant-based protein that works well for muscles after age 60. The next food is hemp seeds. When many people hear about plant-based foods, they often immediately think of protein that is not strong enough. But hemp seeds are a clear exception. Hemp seeds provide all the essential amino acids that the body needs to build muscle. This is not common among plant-based foods. Another important point is digestibility. Protein from hemp seeds is easy to absorb, allowing the aging body to use it more efficiently instead of excreting a portion of it, as happens with some other sources. In addition to protein, hemp seeds also provide fats that help reduce inflammation. When inflammation is under control, muscles respond better to nutrition and recover more quickly. From a practical standpoint, hemp seeds are very easy to use. Sprinkle them on oatmeal, mix them into yogurt, or blend them into smoothies. Their flavor is mild and has little impact on the taste of food. What's worth noting is that when hemp seeds are combined with an animal-based protein source, breakfast becomes more balanced, meeting both the muscle-building signal and the absorption capacity of the body after age 60. However, protein does not only need to be easy to absorb. How food is prepared also has a major effect on how the body uses protein. In the next part, we'll talk about a food created through fermentation that makes protein easier to use and provides benefits beyond muscle alone. Fermentation makes protein easier to use after age 60. The next food is tempeh. Tempeh is often confused with tofu, but the two are not the same. Tempeh is made from whole soybeans that have been fermented, and it is this fermentation process that makes the difference. After age 60, the digestive system works less efficiently than before. Some of the protein you consume may not be fully absorbed. Fermentation helps break down compounds that interfere with absorption, making the protein in tempeh easier for the body to use. Tempeh provides complete protein, containing all the essential amino acids needed for muscle. In addition, the fermentation process supports the gut microbiome, and gut health is directly linked to muscle synthesis in older adults. Another important point is that tempeh does not only support muscle, but is also related to overall recovery of the body. When digestion and absorption improve, the body responds more effectively to both nutrition and physical activity. Tempeh can be used in savory breakfasts, lightly pan-fried with vegetables, or combined with eggs. This is a simple way to add easily absorbed protein without relying on supplements. However, not all plant-based protein sources are viewed the same way. There is a food with very ancient origins that is considered a complete protein and is suitable even for sensitive digestive systems. In the next part, we'll talk about a seed often used like a grain, but with protein value closer to animal-based foods than you might expect. A rare grain with complete protein for people over 60. The next food is quinoa. Quinoa is often grouped together with grains, but nutritionally, it is different from most foods we are familiar with. Quinoa provides complete protein, meaning it contains all the essential amino acids the body needs to build and repair muscle. This is very rare among plant-based foods. Another important point is protein utilization. Protein from quinoa is absorbed relatively efficiently by the body, allowing older adults to make better use of the protein in their meals. In addition to protein, quinoa also provides fiber that helps keep the digestive system stable. When digestion works well, the body responds more effectively to both nutrition and physical activity. Quinoa is also gluten-free, making it suitable for people with sensitive digestion or those who experience discomfort with common grains. At breakfast, quinoa can be used in place of oatmeal, cooked with milk or water, and eaten sweet or savory. This is a simple way to add plant-based protein without making the meal feel heavy. However, there is still one food with a protein density far higher than anything we've discussed so far, so high that even researchers had to verify the results multiple times. In the next part, we'll talk about a food that requires only a very small amount, yet delivers an unusually high level of protein and is often underestimated because of its appearance. Unusually high protein density in a very small amount. The final food is spirulina. Spirulina is not like typical foods. Its most notable feature is its extremely high protein density relative to its weight. Just a small amount provides a significant quantity of protein. It's not only about quantity. The protein in spirulina is of good usable quality, providing the amino acids necessary for muscle. For people over age 60, this is especially important because absorption capacity has declined. Spirulina also contains antioxidant and anti-inflammatory compounds. When inflammation is under control, muscle recovery occurs more smoothly, especially after physical activity or long walks. A practical advantage is that the required dose is very small. You don't need to eat a lot or change your usual meals. Just mix a small amount of spirulina into a smoothie, or combine it with oatmeal or yogurt in the morning. For this reason, spirulina does not replace a meal. Instead, it acts as a concentrated supplement, helping breakfast become more effective without increasing portion size. When you look back at the entire list, one common point becomes clear. It's not about expensive foods, but about foods that fit the physiology after age 60. In the next part, I'll help you simplify everything we've just discussed, highlight a few core options that are easiest to start with, and show how to combine them in a daily breakfast. What matters is not eating more, but eating the right way. After looking through all the foods mentioned, one common point becomes very clear. None of these foods are expensive. None of them need to be consumed in large amounts, and none of them require complicated lifestyle changes. The only thing they have in common is this: they fit the physiology of muscle after age 60. They either activate the muscle-building signal, help the body use protein more efficiently, or create a favorable environment for muscle recovery. This explains why simply increasing overall protein intake often fails to produce clear results in older adults. After 60, the body does not need more. The body needs more precise. So instead of trying to remember a long list, what matters is knowing where to start. If you had to choose just a few core foods to begin using as early as tomorrow, the priority should be simple options that are easy to buy, easy to eat, and easy to maintain long-term. In the next part, I'll narrow this list down to just a few foundational choices and show you how to combine them into a practical, easy-to-make daily breakfast. The 3 most practical foundational choices after age 60. If the list so far feels overwhelming, that's completely normal. You don't need to apply everything at once. In fact, just a few foundational choices are enough to create a clear difference in muscle health after age 60. The first choice is Greek yogurt. It serves as a foundation because it provides protein that is easy to use, reaches the threshold needed to activate muscle building, is easy to eat, easy to find, and low in cost. Just one serving in the morning helps muscles receive the signal they need. The second choice is hemp seeds. Their role is to complete the meal. They add essential amino acids and support a recovery-friendly environment for muscle. Only a small amount is needed, without changing eating habits. The third choice is oatmeal, not to replace protein, but to help the body use protein more efficiently. The stable energy from oatmeal prevents muscles from burning protein as fuel. When combined, these 3 foods meet the most important needs of the body after age 60. A muscle-building signal, usable protein, a stable environment for recovery, and most importantly, they do not require major changes to daily routines. In the next part, I'll move from theory to practice, laying out a day-by-day breakfast plan so you can see how to apply these choices in a simple and sustainable way. A simple 7-day breakfast plan for muscle after age 60. Instead of speaking in general terms, the easiest way to start is with a clear day-by-day plan. No need for anything complicated. No need for precise measuring. Just rotate the foods we've discussed. Monday, Greek yogurt plus fruit, hemp seeds. Tuesday, oatmeal plus Greek yogurt. Wednesday, sardines plus whole grain bread. Thursday, cottage cheese plus fruit. Friday, quinoa prepared as a breakfast dish. Saturday, pan-fried tempeh vegetables. Sunday, a smoothie with Greek yogurt and a small amount of spirulina. Each meal has the same goal: to activate muscle building, provide protein the body can actually use, and support recovery. You don't need to follow this list 100% exactly. Just understand the principle and adjust as needed. What matters is this: breakfast is no longer just a meal to get by, but becomes the first opportunity of the day to protect and build muscle. And when breakfast fulfills its proper role, everything else throughout the day becomes easier. In the next part, we'll wrap up the core points to remember from everything discussed and how to start taking action as early as tomorrow without putting pressure on yourself. What to remember after age 60. Breakfast is the deciding moment. After everything we've just discussed, there is one important thing to remember. After age 60, muscles do not weaken on their own. They weaken when they do not receive the right signals. The problem is not that you eat too little, it's that your meals, especially breakfast, fail to activate the muscle-building process. When breakfast provides the correct biological signal, protein the body can actually use, and a favorable environment for recovery, muscles can still be maintained and improved even at an older age. And you don't need to change everything at once. Start very simply. Just choose one food from today's list and add it to tomorrow's breakfast. Observe your body over the next few weeks: how you stand up, how your legs feel, how steady you are when walking. Knowledge only has real value when it is turned into small, consistent actions. If you found this content helpful, leave a comment letting me know which food you'll start with. And if you're interested in avoiding common mistakes people make with breakfast after age 60, in the next video, we'll talk about foods that seem harmless but actually accelerate muscle loss. These are items that are very familiar and present in many kitchens every day. We'll talk about them next. The opposite of what many people expect. Before we wrap up, there is one more important thing I want to mention. Not every breakfast that looks healthy is actually good for muscle after age 60. In fact, there are some very common foods that are eaten almost every day, but cause muscles to respond less effectively to protein, making muscle loss progress faster over time. What's concerning is this: many people eat these foods believing they are taking good care of their health. In the next piece of content, I'll point out which breakfast choices should be avoided after age 60, and explain why they quietly interfere with maintaining muscle, even if you are eating enough and staying active. One of them is already sitting in the kitchens of many households. If you found this information helpful, please like this video, share it with someone who may need it, and subscribe to the channel for more science-based health tips for life after 60. Your support helps this channel reach more people who want to stay strong, balanced, and independent.